tribes from the corded ware culture migrated into the peninsula, introducing new technologies, forced domestication, and possibly replacing much of the local male population, as suggested by modern DNA studies. Before the Roman era, the Iberian Peninsula was home to diverse groups. Iberians in the east, Celts and Celtiberians in the north and interior, Tartessians in the southwest, Lusitanians in the west, and Basques in the Pyrenees. Meanwhile, seafaring traders from the Phoenician, Greek, and Carthaginian civilizations established colonies along the coast, beginning around 1100 BCE. The Phoenicians founded Gadir, modern Cadiz, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Europe. The Greeks later established Emporium, modern Emporias, around 575 BCE, while the Carthaginians, successors of the Phoenicians, expanded their control during the 3rd century BCE, making Carthago Nova an important center. Roman conquest and legacy. The Romans entered Spain during the Second Punic War, 218 to 201 BCE, fighting Carthage for dominance of the Western Mediterranean. By 26 BCE, Rome had expelled the Carthaginians and began a long process of conquest, completed by 19 BCE under Emperor Augustus. Roman rule transformed Hispania, as Spain was then called. Roads, cities, aqueducts, and laws spread across the peninsula. Latin became the dominant language, evolving over centuries into the modern Romance languages: Castilian, Spanish, Catalan, Galician, and others. Hispania produced notable Romans, such as the philosopher Seneca, the poet Lucan, and the Emperor Trajan. Visigothic kingdom. After the collapse of the Roman Empire, the Visigoths, a Germanic tribe, established a kingdom in Spain in the 5th century CE, with Toledo as its capital. The Visigoths preserved many Roman institutions and legal systems, most famously codified in the Liber Judiciorum, 654 CE, a law book that influenced Spanish jurisprudence for centuries. The Visigoths adopted Roman culture and Christianity, creating a relatively unified kingdom. However, internal divisions weakened them, paving the way for a new conqueror from across the sea. Muslim Constant al-Andalus. In 711 CE, Muslim forces from North Africa, under the Umayyad Caliphate, invaded and defeated the Visigoths. This began nearly 8 centuries of Islamic presence in the Iberian Peninsula, known as Al-Andalus. Under Muslim rule, Spain became a center of learning, architecture, and science. Cities like Cordoba, Granada, and Seville became symbols of cultural brilliance, where Muslims, Christians, and Jews coexisted and exchanged ideas. However, political unity did not last. By the 11th century, Al-Andalus fragmented into small Taifa kingdoms, making it vulnerable to attacks from northern Christian states. The Reconquista, Christian reclamation of Spain. The Reconquista, or Reconquest, was a centuries-long campaign by Christian kingdoms in the north to reclaim land from Muslim rulers. Key victories, such as the capture of Toledo in 1085 and the decisive Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa in 1212, gradually turned the tide. By 1250, only the Kingdom of Granada remained under Muslim control. Finally, in 1492, Granada fell to the joint forces of King Ferdinand of Aragon and Queen Isabella of Castile, completing the Reconquista. That year, 1492, marked 2 other historic milestones: the expulsion of Jews from Spain and Christopher Columbus's voyage to the Americas, which launched the Spanish Empire. The rise and fall of the Spanish Empire. The late 15th and 16th centuries were Spain's golden age. Spain became a global superpower with vast colonies across the Americas, Asia, and Africa. The riches of gold and silver from the New World fueled its economy and financed monumental art and architecture. The reigns of Charles I, Emperor Charles V, and Philip II marked the height of Spanish influence, with Madrid established as the capital in 1561. However, this dominance also led to military overstretch and costly wars. In 1588, Spain's Armada failed to invade England, signaling the beginning of decline. Throughout the 17th century, wars...
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you loved this video. Before leaving the video, I request you once again to hit the subscribe button and like this video and share this video link and the link for the channel on WhatsApp group, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, so that others can knowledge as you go. Thank you so much. Keep loving the world and keep supporting.
era and 19th century turmoil. In 1808, Napoleon invaded Spain, installing his brother Joseph Bonaparte as king. Spanish resistance, supported by Britain, led to the Peninsular War, one of the bloodiest chapters in Spanish history. The war devastated the country, but fostered a sense of national identity. The liberal Constitution of 1812, drafted during this period, marked Spain's first experiment with constitutional monarchy. However, the 19th century remained unstable, with power alternating between monarchies, republics, and dictatorships. Spain also suffered massive colonial losses. By the 1820s, most of its American colonies had gained independence. The final blow came with the Spanish-American War of 1898, when Spain lost its last major colony, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. 20th century, dictatorship and democracy. The early 20th century brought more upheaval. King Alfonso III faced growing unrest, leading to the establishment of the Second Spanish Republic, 1931 to 1939. A political division between left-wing Republicans and right-wing nationalists entered into the Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1939. General Francisco Franco, supported by Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy, emerged victorious and ruled as a dictator until his death in 1975. Franco's regime was marked by censorship, repression, and centralized control, but also modernization and economic growth in later decades. After Franco's death, King Juan Carlos I restored the monarchy and guided Spain toward democracy. The 1978 Constitution established Spain as a parliamentary democracy with a constitutional monarchy. This transition, known as the Spanish Transition, became a global model for peaceful democratization. Spain joined the European Economic Community, now the EU, in 1986 and adopted the euro in 1998, strengthening its position in Europe. In 2014, King Juan Carlos abdicated in favor of his son, King Felipe VI, who continues to reign today. Hash language and culture. Spain's linguistic diversity reflects its complex history. While Castilian Spanish is the official national language, several regions have co-official languages. Catalan in Catalonia and the Balearic Islands, Valencian in Valencia, Galician in Galicia, Basque Euskera in the Basque Country and parts of Navarre. Except for Basque, all are Romance languages derived from Latin. These languages thrive in media, education, and literature, embodying Spain's cultural pluralism. The roots of Spanish literature trace back to the Cantada de Neo Cid, the oldest epic poem in Castilian. The 13th century saw the rise of universities in León, Salamanca, and Valencia, helping shape Spain's intellectual heritage. Later, in 1492, Antonio de Nebria published Gramática de la Lengua Castellana, the first grammar of any modern European language, a testament to Spain's cultural leadership. Geography and climate. Spain's geography contributes to its climatic diversity. The Pyrenees and Cantabrian Mountains influence weather patterns, separating humid northern regions from the drier central plateau or meseta. Northern Spain, Galicia to Catalonia, enjoys a maritime climate, mild and rainy year-round. Central Spain experiences continental Mediterranean conditions, hot summers and cold winters. Southern Spain, including Andalusia, has semi-arid to subtropical climates, while the Canary Islands enjoy an Atlantic subtropical environment. This climatic variety allows Spain to produce diverse crops, from northern vineyards to southern olive groves, and supports tourism across beaches, mountains, and cultural landmarks. Ethnic composition in society. Over centuries, waves of settlers and conquerors, Celts, Romans, Visigoths, Arabs, and others, shaped Spain's population. Modern Spaniards are thus a rich blend of Mediterranean, European, and North African ancestry. Today, Spain is known for its cultural vibrancy, regional autonomy, and historical pride. Its architecture, from Roman ruins to Moorish palaces, languages, and traditions illustrate a nation built on layers of history. Resilient, diverse, and deeply influential in the shaping of the modern world. In summary, Spain's story is one of conquest and coexistence, decline and rebirth. From prehistoric cave dwellers to a democratic European power, its journey reflects the dynamic interplay of cultures that forged one of the most fascinating nations in human civilization. 1,210 words.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you loved this video. If you're liking the video, I request you once again to hit the like the video and share this video link and the link of the channel on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and Facebook so that others can same knowledge as you got. Thank you so much. Keep loving the world and keep supporting.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Handsome GQ World. I am Anthony, making disclaimer from my side that this is the video I have created only for educational and promotional use so that a visitor, a fan can increase his own knowledge for the world. That's again today's video, man.
Architecture, purpose, and cultural significance. The Great Wall of China, a monument of history, defense, and civilization. The Great Wall of China is not a single continuous structure, but rather a remarkable series of walls and fortifications built over a span of more than 2,300 years. Its purpose was primarily defensive, to protect the agricultural heartlands of northern China from the raids and invasions of nomadic tribes from the steppes of Mongolia. Beyond its practical function, however, the wall became a powerful symbol of Chinese unity, strength, and endurance. Declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987, it remains one of the most iconic landmarks of human civilization. Early construction, fragmented walls of the Warring States, 7th century BCE to 3rd century BCE. The story of the Great Wall begins in the 7th century BCE, when China was divided into small rival kingdoms. These states were constantly threatened not only by each other, but also by nomadic groups from the north, such as the Donghu and the Xiongnu. Chu State, one of the first to build defensive barriers. It created the so-called Square Wall, designed to protect its northern capital and territory. Qi State constructed large defensive embankments using rivers, hills, and man-made walls. The Qi Wall stretched to the Yellow Sea, built with tamped earth and stone. Yan State erected two defensive lines, the Northern Wall and the Yishui Wall, against nomadic threats in rival states like Qi and Zhao. Zhao, Wei, and Zheng states each developed their own wall systems, often using rammed earth technology. These fortifications were less about unifying China and more about regional defense. Thus, by the 4th century BC, northern China was already a patchwork of defensive walls, which would later form the foundation for the imperial Great Wall. The Qin Dynasty, 221 to 206 BCE, first unification of the wall. When Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, unified the warring states in 221 BCE, he faced the challenge of securing his northern frontier from the fearsome Xiongnu. He ordered General Meng Tian to connect and extend the existing walls of Yan, Zhao, and Qin into a single defensive system. This created what was known as the 10,000 Night Wall, about 5,000 kilometers. The construction relied on rammed earth, stones, and forced labor. Millions of conscripted peasants, soldiers, and prisoners worked under harsh conditions. Countless lives were lost. Although the wall was monumental, it quickly fell into disrepair after the dynasty collapsed in 206 BCE. Still, Qin Shi Huang set the precedent for future dynasties to maintain and expand the wall. The Han Dynasty, 206 BCE to 220 CE, the Wall and the Silk Road. The Han Dynasty, especially under Emperor Wu, 141 to BCE, revived the wall to defend against the Xiongnu and to protect the emerging Silk Road trade network. Construction stretched westward across Gansu and Xinjiang, reaching as far as Lop Nur. New techniques included beacon towers every 5 li, about 2 kilometers, watchtowers every 10 li, and garrisons every 30 li. The wall not only provided security, but also regulated trade, migration, and taxation along the Silk Road. During During this time, the wall became both a military barrier and an instrument of economic control. From the northern dynasties to the Yuan dynasty, 3rd to 14th century. Over the next 1,000 years, different dynasties modified and repaired the wall depending on military needs. Northern Wei, 386 to 534 CE, built long stretches to defend against Yuan and Khitan tribes. Northern Qi, 550 to 5577 CE, carried out massive construction projects with over 1.8 million workers, extending the wall nearly 900 miles. Sui Dynasty, 581 to 618 CE, ordered 7 major repairs in less than 40 years. Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 CE, largely abandoned the wall because China had expanded far beyond it and defeated the nomads militarily. Song Dynasty, 60 to 1279 CE, faced constant threats from the Liao and Jin, but lacked resources to fully restore the wall. Yuan Dynasty, 1206 to 1368 CE. The Mongols controlled all of China and saw little use for the wall, though they maintained certain passes for commerce and rebellion control. By the end of the Yuan period, the wall was in ruins, awaiting its greatest reconstruction under the Ming. The Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644, the wall we know today. When the Ming Dynasty came to power after expelling the Mongols, they faced the constant danger of renewed invasions. Thus, they launched the most ambitious rebuilding of the Great Wall. Materials and techniques. Unlike earlier dynasties that relied on rammed earth, the Ming used bricks, cut stone blocks, and mortar reinforced with sticky rice. This made the wall far stronger and more durable. Design. The wall averaged 26 feet, 7 to 8 meters high, with a width of 21 feet at the base and 19 feet at the top. Watchtowers, beacon towers, and fortified passes such as Zhuangguan and Shanhaiguan strengthened its defense. Strategic gates. Zhuyang Pass, near Beijing, was among the most crucial, protecting the capital from northern invaders. Dual walls. In many places, the Ming built inner and outer walls, creating layers of defense. It is estimated that over 8,000 miles, 13,000 kilometers of walls, including natural barriers, towers, and trenches, were maintained during the Ming. Much of what tourists see today, battling Mutianyu scimitar, dates back to this era. Qing Dynasty, Qing 1644 to 1911, decline of the wall. The Manchu rulers of the Qing Dynasty did not emphasize the wall as much as the Ming. Instead, they followed a strategy of diplomatic integration and alliances with Mongols and Tibetans. As the empire expanded deep into Central Asia, the wall lost much of its military significance. It gradually decayed, though certain sections were repaired for local defense and symbolism. Had structure and features of the Great Wall. The wall was not simply a single barrier. It was a complex military system with several components. 1. Walls, constructed from local materials, tamped earth in deserts, stone in mountains, bricks near cities. Heights range from 15 to 30 feet, wide enough at the top for soldiers and horses. 2. Watchtowers, built at regular intervals for surveillance and signaling. 3. Beacon towers, used for communication through fire signals by night and smoke signals by day. 4. Passes and fortresses, strategic strongholds like Jaiguan, the western end, and Shanhaiguan, the eastern end, known as First Pass Under Heaven. 5. Moats and ramps, added in some regions for extra protection. This integrated system allowed China to monitor movement, respond quickly to invasions, and regulate commerce. Purposes of the Great Wall. The wall served multiple roles across centuries. 1. Defense. Its primary function was to protect China from northern nomadic invasions, particularly from the Xiongnu, Mongols, and other steppe tribes. 2. Border control. Controlled immigration, and smuggling. It also allowed the Chinese Empire to collect tariffs on trade along the Silk Road. 3. Symbolic power. It projected Chinese authority, discipline, and the idea of a unified empire. Even when militarily less effective, it remained a psychological barrier. Cultural significance in mythology. The Great Wall has long been a symbol of Chinese culture. Legend. The story of Meng Jianghu, whose tears collapsed a section of the wall when her husband died during construction, reflects both the suffering of the laborers and the human cost of the project. Symbolism. By the 20th century, the wall became a national icon, representing resilience and pride. Mao Zedong famously declared, "He who has not climbed the Great Wall is not a true hero." Tourism. Today, reconstructed sections like Badaling attract millions of visitors annually. Preservation and challenges. Despite its fame, large portions of the wall have eroded or disappeared due to natural weathering, neglect, and human destruction. During the 20th century, some villages dismantled wall sections to use bricks for houses. Since the 1980s, however, conservation efforts have increased. UNESCO Heritage 1987 gave it global recognition. Restoration projects at Mutianyu, Simitai, and Jiayuguan have revived major sections. Laws now protect the wall from further damage, though illegal construction and tourism pressures remain challenges. Conclusion. The Wall of China is far more than just an ancient barrier. It is a living chronicle of Chinese history, stretching across dynasties, cultures, and landscapes. Built through the sweat and sacrifice of millions, it embodies the themes of defense, unity, endurance, and identity. From its fragmented beginnings in the Warring States to the grandeur of the Ming Dynasty, the wall reflects the evolution of Chinese civilization. While it could not always stop invasions, it stood as a line of resistance, a regulator of trade, and a symbol of cultural pride. Today, the Great Wall continues to inspire awe as one of the greatest architectural achievements in human history. Standing on its ancient stones, one feels not only the weight of centuries, but also the
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you love this video. Before leaving the video, I request you once again to hit the subscribe button and like this video and share this video link and the link of the channel on WhatsApp group, Facebook, Instagram and Facebook so that the same knowledge as you got. Thank you so much. Keep loving the world and keep supporting.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Edwin Sunny's GQ World. I am Edwin Sunny, making disclaimer from my side that this is the video I have created only for educational and promotional use so that a visitor, a fan can increase his own knowledge for the world. Let's begin today's video, man.
The History and Geography of Georgia, created by Admin Sunny for educational purpose only to grow your knowledge about the world. Introduction. The country of Georgia is a small but historically rich nation located at the crossroads of Eastern Europe and Western Asia, nestled in the South Caucasus region. Despite its modest size, Georgia's history is deeply fascinating, stretching back thousands of years to the prehistoric era. It has been shaped by powerful kingdoms, foreign invasions, golden ages, and modern struggles for independence. Alongside its history, Georgia also boasts breathtaking landscapes, diverse climates, rich flora and fauna, and a vibrant culture that reflects centuries of interaction with neighboring civilizations. This article will explore Georgia's story in detail, from ancient kingdoms to the modern republic, while also highlighting its geography, people, and environment. Ancient Georgia, prehistory, 4th century AD. The lands of present-day Georgia hold some of the earliest evidence of human civilization. Archaeological discoveries reveal winemaking. Georgia is often called the birthplace of wine, with evidence of winemaking dating back over 8,000 years. Gold and textiles. Ancient mines and weaving tools prove the region was advanced in metallurgy and fabric production. By the classical era, two important kingdoms emerged. One, Colchis, located in the fertile Colchida lowland, famous for the Greek myth of Jason and the Argonauts seeking the Golden Fleece. Two, Iberia, Kartli, situated in eastern Georgia, playing a crucial role in shaping the Georgian national identity. A turning point came in the early 4th century when Georgia became one of the very first countries in the world to adopt Christianity as the state religion. This faith bound the Georgian people together and influenced their language, literature, and culture for centuries. Unified Georgian Kingdom and Golden Age, 11th to 13th centuries. In 1008 AD, Georgia was unified under the Bagrationi dynasty, which laid the foundation for a strong and centralized kingdom. King David IV, David the Builder, 1089 to 1125, expanded Georgia, defeated invaders, and promoted cultural revival. Queen Tamar the Great, 1184 to 1213, one of the most celebrated rulers in Georgian history, oversaw the peak of Georgia's golden age. Under her reign, Georgia expanded its borders, fostered trade, built magnificent churches and fortresses, and became a center of art and literature. This era marked Georgia as a powerful kingdom in the Caucasus, respected by neighbors and feared by rivals. Decline in foreign domination, 15th to 19th centuries. From the 15th century onward, Georgia's power began to decline due to both internal divisions and external threats. Mongols invaded during the 13th century, weakening the kingdom. Later, the Ottoman Empire and Persian Empire competed for influence, often dividing Georgia into smaller, weaker principalities. By the early 19th century, unable to resist stronger powers,
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that you are getting good knowledge about the world and keep on enjoying only one thing I want. Just hit the subscribe and a like below this video. Keep on enjoying the videos for lifetime.
Georgia gradually came under the control of the Russian Empire. In 1801, eastern Georgia was officially annexed, followed by other regions in later years. Brief independence in Soviet era, 20th century. The 20th century brought dramatic changes. After the Russian Revolution, 1917, Georgia declared independence in 1918 and established the Democratic Republic of Georgia. However, this freedom was short-lived. In 1921, the Red Army invaded, and Georgia was incorporated into the Soviet Union. During the Soviet era, Georgia developed industries, education, and infrastructure, but political freedoms were suppressed. Modern Georgia, 1991 present. As the Soviet Union collapsed, a strong independence movement emerged in Georgia. On April 9, 1991, Georgia declared independence. Since then, the country has faced significant challenges. Internal instability in the 1990s. Conflicts with Russia, particularly in Abkhazia and South Ossetia, regions that remain disputed to this day. Despite these challenges, modern Georgia has rebuilt itself as a democratic nation, aiming for closer ties with Europe. Due to its free port policy and strategic location on the Strait of Malacca, Singapore quickly grew into a major hub for shipping, trade, and immigration. People from China, India, the Malay Archipelago, and Europe arrived to settle, trade, and work. World War II and Japanese occupation, reputation as an impregnable fortress, was shattered during World War II. In February 1942, Japanese forces invaded and defeated the British Army, taking control of the island. They renamed it Sionen-tu, meaning Light of the South. The Japanese occupation lasted until 1945 and was one of the darkest periods in Singapore's history. Thousands of people, especially Chinese civilians, were killed during the Sukching massacre. Food shortages, fear, and oppression defined this period. After Japan's defeat, the British returned, but confidence in colonial rule was broken. Road to independence. In 1959, Singapore achieved partial self-governance under British rule. Lee Kuan Yew became the first prime minister. His People's Action Party, PAP, aimed to build a modern, prosperous state. In 1963, Singapore joined Malaysia, along with Malaya, Sabah, and Sarawak, in hopes of achieving greater economic and political stability. However, the union was short-lived. There were deep differences, including political disagreements, ethnic tensions, and economic rivalries. On August 9, 1965, Singapore was expelled from Malaysia, becoming an independent nation. It was a painful moment, and Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew broke into tears during the televised announcement. Building a nation, struggles and successes. In 1965, Singapore faced massive challenges. No natural resources, high unemployment, housing shortages, ethnic divisions among Chinese, Malays, and Indians, lack of a standing army. Yet, through strong leadership, sound policy, and strict governance, the country transformed rapidly. The Housing and Development Board, HDB, was created to provide affordable public housing. Education and healthcare were expanded. The economy was industrialized. Foreign investment was welcomed. English was adopted as the working language to unite communities and connect with the world. Economic miracle. Singapore's transformation is often called an economic miracle. From the 1970s onward, it shifted from labor-intensive industries to high-tech sectors. The port remained vital, but the country also became a leader in banking, finance, electronics, biotechnology, and tourism. Today, Singapore is one of the richest countries per capita in the world, ranked among the top 5 busiest ports, a major financial hub in Asia, known for its cleanliness, safety, and governance. Modern Singapore, a global city. In the present day, Singapore is a model of urban planning, governance, and economic growth. It is famous for Changi Airport, consistently ranked the world's best, Marina Bay Sands, an iconic hotel and entertainment complex, multicultural society with harmony among Chinese, Malays, Indians, and others, education system considered among the best globally, green initiatives, city in a garden with extensive greenery and sustainable architecture. Despite being a small island with limited land and resources, Singapore has become one of the most advanced and respected nations. Key takeaways from Singapore's history. Geography matters. Its location helped it become a trading hub. Leadership is crucial. Visionary leadership by Lee Kuan Yew and others helped build the nation. Multicultural harmony. Singapore promotes racial and religious tolerance, critical for peace. Innovation and education. Investing in people and technology propelled its growth. Final words. From a fishing village to a colonial port, from war-torn occupation to a powerhouse economy, Singapore's history is a story of resilience, transformation, and hope. This educational video was created by Admin Sunny to help you understand how a small island with big dreams became one of the most successful countries in the world. Don't forget to click subscribe and the bell icon so you never miss our upcoming educational videos. Also, share this video link in your WhatsApp groups, school groups, and with friends and family. Thank you for watching.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you loved this video. Before leaving the video, I request you once again to hit the subscribe button and like under this video and share this video link and the link of the channel on WhatsApp group, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest group so that others get the same knowledge as you got. Thank you so much. Keep loving the world and keep supporting. Hello ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Anthony YouTube World. I am Anthony, making disclaimer from my side that this is the video I have created only for educational and promotional use so that a visitor, a fan can increase his own knowledge for the world. That's the concluding video, man.
The United States of America, with its rich and diverse history, is home to an extraordinary array of historical sites that tell the story of the nation's past. From grand national monuments to preserved battlefields and humble homes of great leaders, each place provides a unit of the cultural, political, and social evolution of the country. Administered and preserved in large part by the National Park Service, NPS, these historical landmarks not only educate, but also inspire millions of visitors each year. National Landmarks and Monuments. Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island, New York. Perhaps the most iconic symbol of American freedom. The Statue of Liberty was a gift from France in 1886 and stands as a beacon for liberty and democracy. Located in New York Harbor, it has welcomed millions of immigrants arriving in the United States. Just nearby is Ellis Island, which served as the busiest immigration inspection station from 18 to 1954. Over 12 million immigrants passed through here, making it a deeply emotional and historical location for many American families. Mount Rushmore, South Dakota. This massive sculpture carved into the Black Hills of South Dakota features the faces of 4 U.S. presidents. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. Mount Rushmore represents the ideals of freedom, democracy, and the American dream. It was completed in 1941 after 14 years of work and remains a popular destination for both its artistry and symbolic significance. Lincoln Memorial and Washington Monument, Washington, D.C. The Lincoln Memorial, with its grand Greek temple design and a giant seated statue of Abraham Lincoln, commemorates the 16th president's role in preserving the Union during the Civil War and promoting liberty. Nearby, the Washington Monument, a towering obelisk, honors George Washington, the first president and father of the country. Both sites are part of the National Mall and are central to America's national identity. Independence National Historical Park, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, known as America's most historic square mile. This park includes Independence Hall, where both the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution were debated and adopted. Nearby, the Liberty Bell, a symbol of American independence, draws visitors from around the world. Philadelphia's role as the nation's first capital and the cradle of democracy is captured perfectly within this park. Battlefields and military sites. Gettysburg National Military Park, Pennsylvania. The Battle of Gettysburg, fought in 1863, was a crucial turning point in the Civil War. The park preserves the battlefield and numerous monuments dedicated to the soldiers who fought and died there. It is also the site of President Lincoln's famous Gettysburg Address, which redefined the purpose of the war and the nation itself. Pearl Harbor National Memorial, Hawaii. This site commemorates the surprise Japanese attack on December 7, 1941, which led to the United States' entry into World War II. The memorial includes the USS Arizona Memorial, built above the sunken battleship, and serves as a solemn tribute to the 2,403 Americans who lost their lives. It stands as a stark reminder of the cost of war and the importance of preparedness. The Alamo, San Antonio, Texas. A symbol of Texan courage and independence, the Alamo was the site of a fierce battle in 1836 between Mexican forces and Texan revolutionaries. Though the Texans were defeated, their bravery inspired others to continue the fight, ultimately leading to Texas's independence. The phrase, "Remember the Alamo," remains a rallying cry for bravery and resistance. Other notable historic sites. Mount Vernon, Virginia, George Washington's home and plantation, offers a glimpse into the private life of the first U.S. president. Located along the Potomac River, Mount Vernon includes restored buildings, gardens, and Washington's tomb. It helps visitors understand the complexities of Washington's leadership, personal life, and his views on slavery and nation building. Colonial Williamsburg, Virginia, this living history museum recreates life in an 18th century American town. Actors in period costume portray real historical figures, allowing visitors to witness colonial-era politics, trades, and daily routines. Williamsburg was once the capital of the Virginia colony and played a key role in early American governance and education. Martin Luther King Jr. National Historical Park, Atlanta, Georgia. This site includes Dr. King's birth home, Ebenezer Baptist Church, where he preached, and his final resting place. It honors the life and legacy of the civil rights leader who led nonviolent protests against racial inequality and helped change the course of American history. The park serves as both a tribute and a call to continue the work for justice. Mesa Verde National Park, Colorado. Unlike many man-made